So I want to give a brief overview of what the schedule is for tonight. We're going to do an introduction. I'm not sure how many of you were here about a year ago when we first started our listening tour, but I'm going to recap some of the things that are important to understand, including what is DNR. DNR's mission, our mandate, is important to understand when it comes to recreation on our lands. I'm going to talk about the motivation. Why are we doing this? Why are we holding this process? What is it that's driving it? I'm going to talk about the goals. What do we, DNR, think that the appropriate goals are at this point in time? And we'll want feedback from you later on that. We're going to review briefly some of the public input that we received and a little bit of the research that we've done. We're going to talk about the considerations that we've used to help us identify some potential sites here on the Tahuya State Forest. We're going to let you take a look at those potential sites. We're going to put them up on the screen here, but we're going to go over those really quickly because we have listening stations set up in this corner and that corner. Each one has a different potential site, large maps, a great opportunity for you to get into a detailed discussion about that with us. We're going to want to get your feedback on those locations, and we're going to want to get your feedback on the considerations that we used to help select those as potential sites. DNR state forests are trust lands. We manage those for the trust beneficiaries. It's 2.2 million acres of forest that we manage, and that management has to be done with an undivided loyalty to the long-term revenue generation for those beneficiaries. So that's an important thing to keep in mind as we go through this process. We have a lot of different things that DNR manages, from aquatic lands to forest practices to being the largest on-call firefighting agency or department in the state. But for the purposes here, I think the really important thing is our trust mandate. Recreation can exist on those lands as long as it doesn't impair the ability to generate revenue. If it does, the trust has to be compensated. And I think understanding the impact of that is helpful too. $151 million was generated in fiscal year 2016 for the beneficiaries. And a small sampling of those beneficiaries are there: public school construction, the state universities and colleges, and county services. There are others, but the majority of the funds have gone to there. What allows us to have recreation on our state forest is the multi-use concept. This was legislation that said that we can have recreation on state lands, alternate or multiple uses on state lands, including recreation, again, as long as it doesn't interfere with the generation of revenue, or if it does, money has to be compensated to the trust for that. So we are able to provide on 2.2 million acres of land. We have 70 campgrounds, 55 trailheads, 1,100 miles of trails, 50 day use areas, hunting and fishing, dispersed recreation. We provide a tremendous range of recreation opportunities for everything from hiking to 4x4, hang gliding to equestrian use, and target shooting to bird watching. So there's a growing demand for outdoor recreation in Washington State. The population here has grown by 25% over the past 20 years, and we see not just a growth in demand because of the population, but in fact more people looking to get outdoors on our lands across the board. I think that's a great thing, but that also comes with some conflicts. As a recreation provider, we want more people out on our lands, but it does end up with some potential issues of conflict. It can be conflict with our trust mandate, with other visitors, with our neighbors, and so that makes planning all the more important for us. The way that we can address conflicts is through appropriate plan. There was a plan generated in 2013, which was the Green Tahuya Forest Recreation Plan, that did not specifically address target shooting, and there were comments about target shooting. So we're back to you now, trying to address the best way to handle target shooting. One of the things that we heard in that process was that having a designated range could be an important part of better managing the target shooting on our lands. Right now, DNR does not have any designated locations for target shooting. What we do have is a WAC that addresses how target shooting can occur on DNR land. This is not the definitive WAC, this is a summary of some points of it. Go and check out the WAC for the additional information, but some of the key points. Some of the key points in there: an uninterrupted earthen backstop, not within 500 feet of structures. Yes. Not within 500 feet of a structure or a recreation site, only from half an hour before sunrise to half an hour after sunset. All right, let's try that again. And I think a really important one: not shoot in a manner that endangers or is likely to endanger people or property. That's a summary, but one of the issues is that it's not always necessarily that clear. And so a designated site would be someplace that we can direct people where if they follow the rules and use proper range safety, then they know that they can be in compliance. Right now, this approach of just providing the WAC but not providing any additional guidance, not providing a designated shooting location, is not working well. It's not working for the target shooters, it's not working for other recreationists and visitors, and it's not working for neighbors. So we want to provide more guidance, and we want to provide a target shooting range that provides you with the amenities and the experience that you're looking for. Some of the challenges that are leading us to manage target shooting differently: safety for all of our user visitors. That means our workers, DNR's employees, contractors, other recreationists, and shooters themselves. We're hearing about noise impact to the neighbors. We're hearing about damage or seeing damage to the natural resource and impact to the trust. We're hearing about fire risk at different locations. And we also are concerned about trash and trash cleanup. And remember that recreation has to coexist with our trust mandate, so it can't be impairing, it can't be costing the trust money. So we understand that most target shooters are careful, you follow the laws, you shoot safely, and you clean up after yourselves. We get that. However, when some don't, it creates a significant impact and the potential for tragedy out there. We only have 12 LEOs around the state, which is our law enforcement officers around the state, and it's obviously very difficult to have them in the right place at the right time to address some of the issues that are occurring out there. If you see evidence of unsafe shooting, please report it. Report it to 911 if you think there's an immediate urgent issue, and also to our Forest Watch email address so that we can be aware of what's going on. So I've talked about some of the problems, I've talked about some of the things that we want to resolve, but I also want to talk about DNR's recreation vision. So this is our vision. This is something that was created in with the user involvement. This was created during the Trails Policy Act, but this is something that reflects a desire, this is a completely new vision for DNR. This reflects the desire to focus our recreation vision on the best experience possible for the public. This particular vision doesn't talk about safety, it doesn't talk about sustainability. Those were our prior vision. This is something we strive to. This is something that you, all of the recreating public, should hold us accountable to. It doesn't mean we can always deliver what we want, but our goal is to meet this vision. Safety and sustainability, those are inherent. We need to provide that. We need to ensure that those things are met, but that's not a vision. So this is what we strive for. This is what we ask you to hold us accountable for. And that's why we've undertaken this process. That's why we're trying to be an open and transparent process. We want to provide the best recreation opportunity possible for you as well as other recreationists. So in line with that, I want to go through some of the things that we identified as goals to achieve through this process. These are the things that if we, at the end of this process, we should be able to check off this list and say, yes, we achieved these things. The first is reduce real and perceived risk for its visitors, workers, and neighbors. This is that safety issue. Folks have to feel that they're safe coming to our forest. That means everybody from mushroom pickers to target shooters should feel like they're coming to an area that they feel that they can be safe. It needs to reduce resource damage and the need for cleanup. We want the opportunity to not have to work with groups that come in and clean out dumpsters full of materials left behind. I know you guys want that too. You don't like coming to a site like that. We want to maintain the opportunity for target shooting in Tahuya State Forest. And we want to create a desirable shooting range experience. We want to do both of those things. We want to do it in a way that generates community support. We want to do it in a way that isn't generating resistance, that isn't leaving folks nervous or afraid about losing things, but rather feeling like you have a stake in it. It needs to be something that is financially achievable for us to build it and for us to operate it. That's pretty obvious. We go after a lot of different fund sources. What we attempt to build has to be within our budget. And then strengthen stewardship. We want you to feel not just the community support when you leave here or at the end of this process, but we want you to feel like you're actually stewards of a new range. We want you to feel like you are helping to take care of it. It's important. So as part of your involvement, some of this has already happened. The May 2016 public meeting. A year ago, DNR went on a road trip. We went to 4 different Western Washington locations, asking lots of questions about what do you want to see and what do you not want to see. All of that information is up on our website. We have an e-newsletter. A lot of you probably are following us that way. If you aren't, I hope that you'll sign up. Information that from this meeting, as well as next steps, will all be sent out via that newsletter. We have our website. We have our website. We have the opportunity for you to provide comments here. And then, of course, the additional involvement tonight at the listening stations. So I just briefly want to go through some of the concerns that we heard. Safety, noise, garbage, lawlessness, lack of clear information. That was a recurring theme. Folks don't know where to shoot. Folks don't know what's a safe location. Access, capacity of a shooting range, the impact on the neighbors and landowners, and a poor experience. We heard that from basically all sides. We also heard lots of opportunities. We heard about stewardship, cleanliness, better signing, improved safety, better education by DNR, better opportunities for access, A designated site would provide the kinds of amenities that you're looking for. Improvements to the economy, and just simply quality time outdoors. Everybody who recreates in the outdoors, that's part of what they're looking for. So we've got 3 buckets here. The information or the considerations were more detailed than this, but this is putting them into 3 different buckets of how we evaluated the landscape to try to settle on places where we might build a target shooting range. Environmental and natural resource protection, safety and noise impacts, and then experience, accessibility, and design. The kinds of things that we were looking at, and we have all of these listed out at each of the listening stations, so you're able to read those. But the kinds of things we were looking at were controlling lead, protecting water bodies, the types of soils, wildlife, impact to trees and vegetation, proximity to houses, trails, schools, facilities, roads, the potential for fire, cell coverage, the amount of site engineering that would be necessary with backstops and berms, the infrastructure needs, the capacity, potential capacity of a range, the length of a range, driving access, access for law enforcement, parking. These are all the things that we were using to help us identify potential location. I don't expect you to be able to see this map too well, but we have 2 locations on here, written in black, Tahuya Blacksmith and the Mission Herd. Those are the areas that we have large maps at each location. Those are 2 locations on the Tahuya that we think could be potential sites for a target range. We want to hear your input on this. At those locations, we have the large orientation map. We also have a proximity map so that you can understand a little more detail around it. And then we have a very detailed map for each location. We have a very detailed map that's just at a quarter mile. So you can start talking with us about what you think the range might look like, how it might be oriented on that landscape. These are also at the listing stations, but I just want to run through them quickly. The things in particular that we want to make sure are answered, these aren't the only things that, if you want to talk about something else, that's great, but the things we want to come away understanding better, that we know we want to understand better, are there any considerations that you think we're missing? Are there any considerations that you think we're missing? What can you tell us? Battery? What can you tell us about the locations, about the considerations we're using related to this specific site? What do you think the pros and cons are of each of these sites? A lot of you are going to have a very detailed knowledge of this landscape, so let us know, pros and cons. What designs and amenities do you want to see at a target shooting range? There's a survey going around. We definitely would like if you would please complete that survey. That helps us understand better what folks want. And also tell us the information that you think is most critical at our listening stations. And then lastly, and we've got a separate location for this in the far corner here, is tell us if you think that there is a location that we should have considered that didn't rise to the top here. So if there's someplace else that we should be thinking about, maybe we missed it, let us know. We want to know. Potential next steps. So this is a possible roadmap for how things will go from here. Based on what we heard from you, we're gonna consolidate that information. We'll have a couple more meetings with other stakeholders, and we'll work to identify a potential preferred location. Work to identify a preferred location here. With that, we will, if we can do that, we come up with one single preferred location. We're going to then look at how can we orient and design a range on that location, a conceptual approach to it. What did we hear about amenities that people want to see? and how can we orient that and place that on this landscape. When we do that, we'll come back out again for another meeting with you so that we can present that and get your input. Transparent throughout this whole process. We really want to make sure that we're doing something that's going to meet your needs as well as all of the other users and neighbors. Then we have to work to secure funding. But if we have a plan, if we have a clear idea of how to move forward and meet your needs and the needs of the other users of the forest, that's going to make that part a lot easier for us. With that funding, we would move to design and construction. I can't give you a timeline on that at this point, but this is the process that we look to go forward with. So with that, we're going to, as I said, we have 2 locations for listening stations, one in this corner, one in that corner. Please visit both of them. Please visit both of them. We want your input on both. There's no specific time frame. We're not going to be breaking and saying, okay, now go from one to the other. Feel free to move back and forth between those here. And there'll be any questions that are specific to those locations. That's where we'd like to address those. You'll also see some of us standing around. We're here to float and meet with you and talk with you also. So feel free to talk with us in the middle here. With that, are there any questions that are about the process itself?
So there will only be one site chosen, is that correct?
Correct. We're looking at one site for a range. Yes, ma'am.
Will this have any impact on, I live in the state forest, and the neighbors shoot all the time. Would this have any impact that they would go to these designated target shooting areas rather than shooting in my backyard, so to speak?
So I believe the question was, will this reduce the number of people shooting outside of the designated area? Is that correct? Okay. That's my expectation. I believe that providing a high-quality user experience at a range, I think, as we see with other recreation users, if we're providing the experience that you're looking for, that's where the majority of people are going to tend to go.
Once you have this range established, are you going to restrict the rest of the forest for shooting?
Right now, we don't intend on closing access to shooting in the rest of the forest. There are some marginal areas where we probably will look when we have a range in place where right now it's where people are shooting in a way that does not comply with the WAC, and that's creating an impact on other users. Some of those we probably will sign as posted and post as closed to shooting, but it's not expected that we would have a broader restriction across the forest. Again, I believe that by providing the desired user experience, a safe, high-quality shooting opportunity, most people are going to go to those locations. And that's going to resolve most of our issues.
One other question. Do you have any preferred areas to shoot down that people can use so that I can refer people to?
That's one of the issues for us. We don't have a designated target shooting location.
This is going to take, what, 5 years?
It might.
Yeah, so we need someplace to shoot.
So you can shoot on our forest in areas that are not marked as no shooting currently if you comply with the WAC. Unfortunately, that's the best guidance that I can give you at this point.
Okay, thank you.
And I do want to add one other thing. We are talking specifically about target shooting. Department of Fish and Wildlife regulations are what apply to hunting, so this is not a change in hunting rules.
So, all the signs they put up a couple of years ago, was that just a big area, or was they attempting to put the whole area off limits?
Where are you referring to?
There's, on Sand Hill Road, there was probably about a dozen signs that said no shooting. They put them up in all different places.
That's probably with the proximity of the prison up there. So that's my only,
Did that answer your question?
Okay, what is the area around the prison that is the no shooting zone?
You mean how far does it extend?
That's correct.
I believe it's a quarter mile. It's not exactly.
These were like over a mile away.
And again, my volunteer, that was a safety concern that we posted for that reason.
Would you repeat the talk that's not on the mic, so we can hear the questions and some of the answers?
The question was around posted no shooting along Sand Hill Road, and how far does that extend? Is that
Yeah, can you walk a quarter mile past the signs, and are you okay, or is that all?
the answer to that?
You know, as long as it's on the back, like Len was saying, I'm sorry, as long as you're on the wax, like Len was pointing out, that's all we're asking.
Do you have an example that shows the no shooting areas?
Do we have a map that shows the designated no shooting areas in Tahuya State Forest? We do not at this point.
You said there's no designated areas right now. I'm just curious, what are the signs as you're entering Bird Road? It says Discover Pass required, and then you go further down Bird Road, and it says Discover Pass required, you're going to turn off this, turn off. What is that for?
What are the Discover Pass signs for? Discover Pass is the statewide access fee for state parks, Department of Natural Resource, and Department of Fish and Wildlife. There's legislation that helps to support recreation amenities that we create on those lands.
What is the recreation amenity on this road right now?
It applies to the entire state forest, and that it applies to all of DNR's lands. That's the way the legislation is written. Not just DNR. It applies to all state parks, all DNR, and all DFW land.
So that's not related to shooting?
That is correct, it's not. Shooting is one element, but it's for being on our land with a vehicle.
To get to my land on Earth Road, I got to go through DNR. It's not required to have a take that to do that.
No, that's correct.
So I'd be landlocked in the next week.
Yes, that is correct. Sir?
You keep saying shooting range. I don't like the word range. The people don't want an organized shooting range. They want a shooting area where they can go play, just like the shoot like this that they're out. They are utilizing Walford Road right now. And they have been, it's quite successful. And you're saying one area. I would like to see two. One for pistol shooting and skeet shooting, or one for pistol shooting, like 50, 75 yards max, and then another area for a couple hundred yards where the rifle shooters, the skeet shooters can enjoy their recreation, but those two have a conflict between them. They need to be separated. And like you say, don't build anything, just designate an area, sign it, channel the people there, and let it develop by itself. Don't wait 5 years.
So the comment was saying, to summarize, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's looking for a very primitive target shooting experience, not a more developed facility, doesn't want to call it range, and a separation of some of the users. And I hear you on that, and one of the things that we want to understand from all of you through this survey here tonight that's floating around is, what do you want to see? What is the kind of shooting experience that you want to see on DNR lands?
I wonder if you made one of the, make two ranges, one more of a primitive and one more of a developed, if that would work better. That would also split people to give people full options.
Yeah, so the comment was maybe do one of each. We want to see what is it that folks are looking for. We want to understand the survey. We want to see if there seems to be a predominance towards one or the other. We'll go from there. Thank you. Couple more questions. I want to make sure we leave plenty of time for the listening station. So.
Yeah. Hi, thanks. I'd like to speak to your point about your recreational vision you had there on your screen. Diverse, high-quality recreation opportunities. I can tell you, as a resident, who lives off River Road, that's crap. As long as there's people shooting willy-nilly wherever they want, as you said, either at Shoe Fly or any other area, and you